A fundamental question confronts every human being, shaping societies and defining personal choices. Should our primary goal be to fit in, to find our place within a larger group and contribute to its seamless functioning? Or should we strive to stand out, to cultivate our unique identity and assert our individual will upon the world? This is not merely an abstract philosophical debate. It is a tension that plays out in our families, our schools, and our workplaces every single day. It represents one of the most profound cultural divides between what we broadly call the East and the West, a difference in perspective that has deep historical and philosophical roots and continues to influence our modern lives in countless ways. This distinction is not about declaring one approach superior to the other. It is about understanding the foundational values that guide different civilizations. In many Eastern cultures, the concept of harmony, or he in Chinese, is paramount. This ideal emphasizes interconnectedness, social order, and the subordination of individual desires for the good of the community. Conversely, Western thought, tracing its lineage from ancient Greece through the Enlightenment, has increasingly championed autonomy. This value system places the individual at the center, celebrating personal freedom, self-expression, and the pursuit of one's own destiny as the highest good. These are two powerful and at times conflicting visions of how to live a meaningful life. To truly grasp this divide, we must look beyond simplistic stereotypes. It is not that Easterners lack individuality or that Westerners are incapable of cooperation. The difference lies in the default setting, the cultural instinct that informs behavior. In one framework, the self is defined primarily by its relationships and responsibilities to others as a daughter, a student, an employee. In the other, the self is seen as a distinct, independent entity, endowed with inherent rights and a unique potential that must be realized. These contrasting starting points create vastly different expectations for how one should behave, what one should prioritize, and what constitutes success. The tension between these two ideals has become more pronounced in our increasingly globalized world. As cultures intermingle, we are all forced to confront these questions more directly. Is the self-sacrificing employee who works late for the team more virtuous than the innovator who challenges the status quo to forge a new path? Is the child who dutifully follows their parents' wishes more successful than the one who rebels to follow a personal passion? Exploring the origins and manifestations of both harmony and autonomy is essential to navigating the complexities of our interconnected world and perhaps finding a more integrated path forward for ourselves. In many Eastern traditions, the individual does not exist in a vacuum. Instead, a person is seen as a node in a vast, intricate network of relationships. This perspective is deeply embedded in philosophies like Confucianism, which has shaped East Asian societies for millennia. Confucian thought outlines a highly structured social order based on the 5 relationships, such as that between ruler and subject, father and son, and husband and wife. Each role comes with a specific set of duties and obligations. Fulfilling these duties with diligence and respect is the key to creating a harmonious family, which in turn leads to a stable and prosperous society. The goal is not self-actualization in the Western sense, but rather the perfection of one's role within the collective. This emphasis on the group extends to the world of education and work. In a typical Eastern classroom, students are often taught to listen respectfully, to absorb knowledge from the teacher, and to work collaboratively towards group success. The nail that sticks out gets hammered down. Individual brilliance is valued, but only insofar as it contributes to the overall performance of the class or the team. Similarly, in the workplace, loyalty to the company and deference to seniority are often prized above individual ambition. The ideal employee is one who understands their place in the corporate hierarchy and works diligently to support the organization's long-term goals rather than seeking personal glory. This collective mindset is also reflected in the family unit, which often functions as the primary source of identity and support. Major life decisions, such as choosing a career or a spouse, are frequently made with heavy input from parents and elders. The belief is that the family, with its accumulated wisdom and experience, is better equipped to guide the individual towards a successful and stable life. An individual's achievements or failures are not theirs alone. They bring honor or shame to the entire family. This shared fate reinforces the importance of considering the group's welfare in every personal action. creating a powerful social fabric built on mutual obligation and interdependence. The strengths of this approach are undeniable. It fosters a powerful sense of community, social stability, and mutual support. People know their place and what is expected of them, which can reduce existential anxiety and create a predictable, orderly society. However, the downsides can be significant. The pressure to conform can stifle creativity, innovation, and critical thinking. Individuals may feel trapped by familial or social expectations, unable to pursue their true passions. This immense weight of the collective can lead to a suppression of personal identity, where one's own desires and aspirations are deemed secondary or even irrelevant in the face of group demands. The Western concept of autonomy has its origins in the democratic ideals of ancient Greece. It was nurtured through the Christian emphasis on an individual's personal relationship with God and came to full fruition during the Enlightenment. Thinkers like John Locke and Immanuel Kant championed the ideas of individual rights, reason, and self-determination. They argued that every person is a rational agent, endowed with the freedom to make their own choices and pursue their own version of happiness. This philosophical shift placed the individual, not the group, at the center of the moral and political universe. The primary duty was no longer to the collective, but to oneself, to develop one's own mind and live an authentic life. This celebration of the individual is vividly expressed in the Western family structure. While family ties are important, the ultimate goal of parenting is often seen as raising an independent, self-sufficient adult. Children are encouraged from a young age to express their opinions, make their own choices, and even challenge their parents' authority. The transition to adulthood is marked by moving out of the family home, establishing financial independence, and making one's own way in the world. Success is measured by personal achievement and the ability to stand on one's own 2 feet, separate from the family unit. This model prioritizes personal growth and self-discovery above all else. In Western educational and professional settings, this individualistic ethos is equally prominent. Schools aim to cultivate critical thinking, creativity, and self-expression. Students are encouraged to ask questions, debate their teachers, and develop unique perspectives. The star student is often the one who challenges conventions and offers a brilliant original insight. In the workplace, initiative, ambition, and personal achievement are highly rewarded. The ideal employee is a self-starter who can innovate, lead, and drive results. Climbing the corporate ladder and building a personal brand are seen as laudable goals, reflecting a culture that values individual success and competition. The benefits of this focus on autonomy are clear. It has been a powerful engine for innovation, democratic progress, and the protection of human rights. It empowers individuals to break free from oppressive traditions and to pursue their dreams regardless of their background. However, this intense individualism is not without its problems. It can lead to social fragmentation, a decline in community cohesion, and a sense of isolation and loneliness. When the pursuit of self-interest becomes the primary goal, it can erode the sense of shared responsibility and mutual obligation that holds a society together, potentially leading to excessive competition and a lack of concern for the common good. In the 21st century, the clear line dividing Eastern harmony and Western autonomy has begun to blur. Globalization, migration, and the internet have created a cultural crucible where these once distinct value systems are now constantly interacting, clashing, and blending. We are witnessing the emergence of a hybrid model where individuals and societies are attempting to synthesize the best of both worlds. For instance, many Western companies are now adopting Eastern-inspired practices that emphasize teamwork, collaboration, and long-term corporate vision, recognizing that relentless individualism can be detrimental to organizational health and innovation. They are learning that a harmonious team can often outperform a group of competing stars. Conversely, Eastern societies are increasingly grappling with the demands for greater personal freedom and self-expression. Younger generations, exposed to Western media and ideas, are pushing back against traditional hierarchical structures in both the family and the workplace. There is a growing movement for educational reform that encourages more creativity and critical thinking over rote memorization. Startup culture, the ultimate expression of individual ambition, is booming in cities like Shanghai and Bangalore. These societies are seeking ways to integrate the dynamism of autonomy without completely sacrificing the stability and support provided by their collectivist traditions. This search for balance is not just a societal trend, it is a personal journey for many. An immigrant family in the United States, for example, must navigate this tension daily. Parents may try to instill traditional values of familial duty and respect, while their children are immersed in a school system that champions independence and self-assertion. The resulting friction can be challenging, but it can also lead to a richer, more nuanced identity, one that understands both the importance of honoring one's roots and the necessity of forging one's own path. This is the modern dilemma: how to be a dutiful child and an independent adult, a loyal team member and a bold innovator. Ultimately, neither pure harmony nor absolute autonomy offers a complete recipe for a well-lived life. A society that only values the group risks becoming stagnant and oppressive, while one that only values the individual risks becoming fragmented and lonely. The true challenge lies in finding a dynamic equilibrium. We can learn from the East the profound strength that comes from community, shared responsibility, and interconnectedness. We can learn from the West the incredible power of individual freedom, critical thought, and personal passion. The wisest path forward may not be to choose one over the other, but to cultivate the capacity for both, to be an individual who is strong enough to stand alone, yet compassionate enough to stand with others.